Welcome to This Explainer. The most successful creators out there are literally changing the game right now. They're entirely swapping out that tedious, soul-crushing manual editing grind for a highly sophisticated programmatic content manufacturing process. So if you're wondering how top channels are scaling up to massive output without completely burning out, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's dive in. To put this shift in perspective, just look at this stat from a recent 2025 Digiday report. A massive 83% of creators are already using AI somewhere in their workflow, and over half of them, they're specifically using it for production. The days of doing every single thing by hand are rapidly fading, and the data absolutely proves it. We're going to treat this explainer like a VIP tour of a modern factory. We'll quickly walk through the manufacturing shift, the criteria for choosing your AI tools, pre-production, asset generation, assembling the actual factory, and finally, the crucial rules for monetization. All right, let's start with phase one, the content manufacturing shift. Here's the real secret to winning today. It isn't about trying to edit faster, it's about stopping manual editing altogether. You have to start treating your channel like a literal assembly line. By letting specialized tools do the heavy lifting, you can realistically scale your output from just one upload a week to one a day. And the best part? You don't sacrifice an ounce of quality.
Moving right along to phase two, the AI tool criteria.
So how do you actually separate the cool, flashy AI toys from true, heavy-duty automation machinery? Well, it comes down to 4 strict metrics. First up, API and integration. The tool absolutely must connect via code, which means no manual downloading or uploading files. Second is scalability. It can't just crash when you ask it to render 100 files instead of 1. Third, commercial rights. You must have clear ownership to protect your channel from strikes. And finally, quality control. It has to output assets that require zero human cleanup. Okay, let's step onto the factory floor with phase 3, pre-production, ideas, and research. Every automated workflow begins with a structured text input. You can think of ChatGPT as the creative director of your pipeline, instantly solving that dreaded blank page problem. But here is the real secret sauce. You don't just ask it to write a script. No, you ask it to format that script into an actionable data table, like a JSON or CSV file that specifically separates the voiceover text from your visual scene descriptions. This perfectly structured data is exactly what feeds the rest of your factory. But while ChatGPT gives you the words, vidIQ acts as your data strategist. You don't want to manufacture things no one wants, right? vidIQ analyzes real-time search data to spot rising, low-competition trends incredibly early, predicting exactly which titles will drive the absolute highest click-through rates. Now for the fun part. Phase 4, production and generating video assets. Think of your generator stack as a row of ultra-specialized, rapid-fire workers stationed right along your assembly line. Every single one of these tools has one very specific job, and they execute it flawlessly and instantly. First up, we need a voice, because, let's be honest, bad audio ruins viewer retention immediately. 11 Labs solves this by generating narration that captures perfect emotion, the natural breath, the right intonation. It is virtually indistinguishable from human speech. They even have this mind-blowing speech-to-speech feature that lets you take poorly recorded phone audio and instantly convert it into a crisp, professional studio voice while keeping your exact pacing. Next, we absolutely have to talk about developing a visual style. In the world of automation, your distinct visual style is basically your billboard. It's your entire brand identity. By feeding prompts into Midjourney, you can lock in a hyper-consistent, beautifully artistic aesthetic. Then, you pass those images over to Runway, which generates dynamic, physics-accurate video clips that adhere perfectly to that established visual style. You end up with completely custom, breathtaking B-roll that creates a cohesive, premium brand experience without ever having to buy a single clip of generic stock footage. And what about music? You know how notoriously strict copyright systems can be online, so relying on the same generic free loops is super risky. Enter Suno. It generates full, structured, original background songs that precisely match the mood and exact length of your edit. By using their Pro plan, you secure full commercial ownership of highly tailored background scores, completely insulating your channel from any copyright headaches. Now, what if your explainer needs a human face to build a bit more trust, like in an educational format? Synthesia provides these crazy photorealistic AI avatars with incredibly natural lip syncing. It essentially gives you a 24/7 presenter, letting you scale up your output immensely without the massive overhead of hiring actors, setting up lights, or renting out studio space. Next up is Phase 5,
assembly, the actual video factory.
This quote really hits the nail on the head. All those amazing tools we just discussed, they are just the raw ingredients. To actually achieve true automation, we need a central factory engine to put the data, script, the voiceover, the stylized visuals, and the music together programmatically. That engine is ShotStack. Just compare the old, manual way to this automated approach. Using a consumer app like CapCut means slow, human drag-and-drop actions, easily taking 1 to 2 hours per project. But the ShotStack API? It's built from the ground up for data-driven mass rendering. It requires zero manual editing and can render thousands of files concurrently right in the cloud. By connecting these APIs together, it's like a domino effect. The data flows directly from ChatGPT's structured output, triggers all your media generators, and pushes everything straight into ShotStack. You can literally churn out an entire month's worth of dynamic, beautifully cohesive content in a single afternoon, completely without a human editor in the loop. It is wild.
But look, none of this matters if you aren't actually making money from it. Let's look at Phase 6, Rules for AI Monetization.
Here is the deal. Platforms don't explicitly ban AI, but they heavily penalize repetitive, inauthentic content. To stay safe, you absolutely need a unique script, a custom voice, and original scenes, which is exactly why dialing in that unique visual style we talked about earlier is so critical. What will definitely get you demonetized is spam. Uploading 50 identical files where only the background color changes. Your automated content must always provide unique, curated value to a human viewer to remain fully monetizable.
Which brings us directly to the biggest trap beginners fall into: zero quality control. You absolutely cannot just blindly upload glitchy, hallucinated raw AI output and expect to win. The most successful automated channels let the AI factory do 90% of the heavy lifting, sure, but human curation and judgment remain that essential final 10% polish. You are the factory manager. You still got to check the final product before it ships out the door.
So as you think about integrating these incredibly powerful APIs to unlock the true potential of the creator economy, you really have to ask yourself one question. Are you still just building individual assets, endlessly dragging and dropping files on a timeline day after day? Or are you finally ready to build a system? Think about that for a second. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.